topic we will be discussing today is 19th century women.
Hi, my name is Xavier, and we will also be covering education, labor, and women's rights.
Hi, my name is Akash, and we will also be talking about late 19th century feminism and anti-feminism.
Hi, my name is Kent. I'm here to let you know that in this video we have some depictions that are necessarily not appropriate, but what we are trying to convey is how life was really for women in the 19th century. We are not supporting any of this, and we just want to let you know how things really happened. Hope you have fun and you enjoy.
Because the textile industry collapsed, there were less jobs that were available for women. And as a result of this, factory owners took advantage of women because they knew that these women desperately needed jobs. So, even when women worked harder than men and worked more than men, they still earned less wages than men. However, in the Second Industrial Revolution, more jobs opened up.
Women were supposed to marry at the age of 21, but even then they were exploited. Men used this to gain personal assets, and even then, women could not divorce if they were being abused. Children went to the husband no matter how they were treated in the past.
In the Second Industrial Revolution, women did end up getting more jobs, but they were paid much less and they had to work under men, such as management positions. They were secretaries or teachers, but they were always subject to the rule of under men.
In this time period, many women were allowed many job opportunities, and one of the most prominent job opportunities that these women had were being writers. Being a writer could express your viewpoints and your ideals through the work of literature, such as the subjugation and vindication of women. What they did was they supported feminism through the art of literature, which they were not really as labeled as rioters or protesters, and they were labeled as more peaceful negotiations. And what a feminist basically is both man or woman supporting equal rights for both male and the female race. And this ideal was especially effective in Great Britain.
suffragettes were upset with their social standing and were not happy with the status quo. So many of them turned to violent ways to get reforms for women and to earn women's rights. Such ways included riots and mobs.
Well, to wrap things up what we just discussed today, I have here for our daily debate our two experts, Dr. Ford and Dr. Vard. And they're here to talk about what we basically just discussed today, women's rights. Now let these two take it away.
The biggest problem for women in the 19th century was education. Without an education, they couldn't get a job, which means they were forced into the domestic sphere of work, and they were looked down upon by men. And since they were looked down upon by men, they couldn't get voting rights, which means they couldn't push for reforms, since they wouldn't be able to elect people that would help them in their time of need. Obviously, women's education is the biggest problem of the 19th century.
Obviously, women's rights were the biggest issue that women faced in the 19th century. If you look in terms of marriage, women were forced to marry by the age of 21. Once they were married, all their personal assets were taken away from them. And the husbands would normally force their wives to sexually please them whenever they desired. Also, if we look at women joining the workforce, they were paid lower wages just due to their sex. After providing all these facts, you must agree with me that women's rights was the biggest issue in the 19th century. Look, we're both educated men. Imagine, however, if you were a woman, if you were forced to marry by the age of 21, if your personal assets were taken away from you, how would you feel? You need to place yourself in women's shoes. Obviously, whoever certified you as a PhD was an imbecile.
Hey, what you trying to say about me, man?
Calm down.
Come at me! Come at me! Come at me,
All
bro!
I'm saying-
Come at me!
I don't want no Jerry Springer show.
Women's rights couldn't possibly be the source of the problem because women's education is the source of the problem of women's rights. So obviously women's education is a much more important topic than women's rights. Without an education, they couldn't get a job and they wouldn't be looked upon equally from men. And they wouldn't get voting rights. So obviously you can't say women's rights is a much more important topic than women's education.
Amy Pankhurst just came out with her new speech, Why We Are Militant. And in this document, she states that women, they should not be docile and let men just run over them. They should be militant, they should riot, they should do everything they can. More than men, what they did to get votes, they should do way more than they have because they've been way too patient in trying to get their own suffrage.
On behalf of our crew, thank you. I hope you enjoyed watching our presentation about women's rights.
We hope you learned a lot. I learned a lot too.
Women had to go through a lot in the 19th century to get their own rights. But still, today, people are being oppressed, and what was impossible, or what it seemed like in the 19th century. And hopefully, we're getting there, but in the future, we can all be treated as equal.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.